have this vivid memory of sitting in the bathtub one time and just crying.
I think I punched my dad once.
You're not in charge of me right now. Like, you just won't leave me alone.
I had an epidural in my back, so I couldn't move very well.
She just wanted me to keep pushing and keep going.
Everybody had one. Like, if you didn't have one, you were looked down upon.
This is a show where teenagers share their experiences growing up in today's world. I'm your host, Dr. RJ, and this is A Teen's Perspective. Hello and welcome to A Teen's Perspective. I'm your host, Dr. RJ, and today I want to do something special for you. 2 episodes ago, I shared a group coaching call that I had with a couple teenagers, and I received so many messages asking if I can share more of this group coaching call. So that's what I'm gonna do in this episode. Now, just so that you're caught up, let me give you a recap of what I'm helping these teenagers to understand. What I'm sharing with these teenagers is the importance of their thoughts and how their thoughts influence their emotions and how their emotions will influence their actions. And many actions will ultimately create the result that they want. The way that we explain this thought versus your feelings versus your actions is by levels of energy, which was created by Bruce D. Snyder. So he created this system so that you can always be aware of your thoughts based on what level of energy. Because we all know that everything is energy. You know, I'm sure when you're hearing energy, you're probably thinking of a light bulb, but when you hear my words, that's energy. Actions are energy. Thoughts are energy. So it's all energy. So Bruce T. Snyder described energy on these levels 1 through 7. So if you check out the previous episode, we discussed levels 1 and 2. Today, in this episode, we're going to discuss 3 and 4. Just so you're not lost, let me give you a quick recap of the different levels of energy. And the best way to think of these levels of energy is if you're playing a game. So let's say, for instance, you're playing a sport, whether it's basketball, football, it could be Monopoly. I mean, it could be any game you want to play. Level 1 would be I lose. So that means you're going into the game thinking you're going to lose. That's level 1. Level 2 is you lose. And this is that competition, that competitive spirit. So you go into the game thinking like, hey, I want you to lose. I don't want you to win at all. I am the only one that wants to win. Level 3 is I win, but I don't care if you win. You can win, it's okay, as long as I win. So this could be in any game where there could be multiple winners. Level 4 is you win. So level 4 is you focusing on the other person. So let me give you examples of each level. Level 1 thoughts would be, I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. These are all level 1 thoughts, which makes you feel bad, which cause you not to take action. And that's when we talk about level 1. Level 2 is you lose. So a lot of conflict is associated with level 2. So anytime there's black or white thinking, it's a level 2 thought because it's conflict. Any thought that says I'm right and you are wrong is a level 2. It's a lot of conflict. That's the reason why there's so much conflict in politics. It's people on the far left versus people on the far right. It creates conflict. That's level 2 thinking. Level 3 is I win. So anytime you're rationalizing, that's a level 3 thought. So if someone cuts you off in traffic, level 3 would be they must be in a hurry. I'll just slow down so they can get in, right? That's level 3. Level 4 is your concern for someone else. So if you're a parent, you know all about level 4. You're taking care of your kids. You know, I'm an orthodontist. I'm caring for my patients. That's level 4. So to really understand this, make sure you check out this episode. Listen to how we talk about real life examples and how the levels of energy will impact how you particularly get what you want. Level 3 is the first level. That's anabolic energy. So you remember anabolic versus catabolic. They're associated with the hormones. And that's really where we get the name from. So catabolic is associated with catabolic hormones, such as adrenaline, the stress hormone, cortisol. Those are associated with catabolic energy, which are great for a short period of time. If you're running away from a bear, they're wonderful. But over a long period of time, they're very destructive. So we prefer to shift our energy, in a sense, to be more of the higher levels of energy, where it's more anabolic. So anabolic is like testosterone, growth hormones. Those are anabolic because it's building your body up. It's not tearing it down. So level 3 is the first level where we start to think of things differently. Whereas level 1, you're feeling sorry for yourself, right? You're like kind of beating yourself up, saying that you're not worthy, you're not smart, you're not pretty enough, you're not good enough. And then you go to level 2 and you're focused more on making sure someone else lose. So you're like, I'm right and you're wrong, right? That's level 2. Black and white thinking, is either this way or the highway. I'm sure you heard your parents say that before. That's very level 2. You might want to tell them, say, hey, that's kind of level 2 energy there. So level 2 basically is what creates conflict. So we see this in politics all the time. You're either far to the left, far to the right. That's level 2 thinking. And that's the reason why so much conflict. And then we get to level 3. Level 3 starts to rationalize everything. So if someone is rude to you, you start to rationalize it and be like, oh, well, maybe they had a bad day. They didn't mean it. That's the level 3 thinking. So that way you're not getting mad, right? You're not like level 2 where you want to fight back. You're not level 1 where you would be like, hey, something's wrong with me. They're yelling at me because I'm not good enough to do this job, or I am not doing my job on defense and they're yelling at me and I'm just terrible at defense. So that's a level 1 thinking. But no, you're thinking like, oh, guess what? They just had a bad day. Not a big deal. It keeps you in a better mood. So can you share an example of a level 3 transition that you had? Like maybe you were like level 1 or level 2 initially, and then you transitioned to level 3.
I'm trying to get to level 3, like probably like with my mom or just like my parents in general. Just like when we have like an argument or like a disagreement and I feel like they're not hearing me out, like I get frustrated because I feel like they think that they know everything. So I'm trying to get to level 3 and trying to like rationalize and be like, okay, I know that they're just trying to guide me. They don't want me, to make mistakes and they only want the best for me. So I'm trying to get there, but I'm honestly not all the way there. So.
Got it. Yes. So you said that what frustrates you is because your parents act like they know everything.
Yep.
And they don't hear you out.
Yep.
All right. Perfect. So I will say, if you felt like someone did not want to listen to you because they know everything, of course you would be upset. Of course. That is a natural feeling. That's a feeling that we expect. Anyone in your shoes will feel that way. All right. So there's a trick so you don't feel that way. All right. I'm going to tell you how to get to level 3 right now. So first, we have to acknowledge the fact that any thought you have will cause an emotion and cause an action. So if you want the result, you want your parents to hear you out. That's a result that you want. You're not going to get there being frustrated, right? We know that. So we need to address what's causing the frustration. And what's causing the frustration is your interpretation. That's the key, the interpretation. Because ultimately, you are not a mind reader. We all wish we were, but we can't read someone's mind, right? So all we can do is interpret their actions or interpret their words. So your interpretation is, my mom and dad think they know everything. That's an interpretation. You don't know that for sure because we're not in their mind. When they're talking to you, we don't know what's going on in their head. But all we know is you're interpreting it as you think you know everything. And the example you gave us is when they don't try to hear you out. So my question to you is, what's another interpretation? What's another interpretation of someone not allowing you to speak? What is another interpretation?
Maybe that in their mind that they know, like they've possibly been through it, but I don't know that. You know what I'm saying? So, that could be one, is that they really do know.
Okay, yeah, that could be one. What's another interpretation? Could it be possible that they are completely unaware that they're cutting you off and not letting you talk?
Yeah.
Can that be possible? Has there been a time whenever somebody was talking about something, maybe basketball, you got excited and you cut them off and it's like, oh yeah, it should be like this. Is that possible?
Yeah.
And was it possible that when you cut them off, you were not trying to cut them off, you just got excited and you started talking and you didn't realize it?
Right. Yeah.
Right. So that's a possible interpretation. Now, if that's your interpretation, how does that make you feel?
So if they're unaware, then yes, that changes it. Because, I mean, like you said, they might not just, realize that they're doing that. So with me knowing that, then I can be like, okay, they don't understand. I can't really fault them, so.
Yeah. So it changes your mood. I'm not saying it makes you feel the best, right? But it definitely doesn't make you mad, right? If somebody's completely unaware of something, it doesn't necessarily make you so angry at them. The way you get angry at them is like, hey, you're purposely doing this. Like you think you know everything, it makes you mad. But it was like, oh, you didn't even know? Okay. I mean, I'm still not like the most excited, but I mean, I get it. You don't know because sometimes I do things.
Right.
So ultimately, the goal is to focus on the result. So the result is that you want your parents and you guys to have better communication. And we're not going to get there if you're mad. And I want you to keep in mind this, both of you, I want you to keep in mind this for like everything in life, like for future, no matter what relationship you're in, because relationships are a big part of life, is that one person can influence a relationship. Okay? So one person, you don't need two people, one person. If you're in a relationship with someone else, you have the ability, you have the power to influence that relationship in the direction you want it to go. Okay? But with that said, it will take both of you guys to get to ultimate fulfillment. So it's always advisable if you're in a relationship to both people to be working towards something. But if you're the only person that's working towards it, you still can influence it. So don't give up. So the situation I want to bring up to you is your parents. So if you believe that interpretation, what would be your action? If your interpretation is, oh, they're unaware that they're cutting me off. They're unaware that they're making me feel, or I shouldn't say that because they don't make you feel anyway. You're choosing to feel a certain way. So they're unaware that I feel this way. What would be an action?
I guess rather than getting mad and just, being quiet or getting an attitude, I could tell them you guys are not hearing me, communicate better rather than just, shutting it down. Just let them know, I don't think you guys are listening to me. I don't think you guys are hearing me. Or try to explain in a different way to where they do understand.
Yeah, those are all actions. And one action I would recommend, if that is the case, if you're interpreting their actions as maybe they're unaware, is to talk to them when you guys are in a good mood. Talk to them about how you feel when you're in a good mood. Because this is another tip for you guys in your relationship long term, is that when someone is emotionally charged, they're not really receiving what you're sharing in the light that you want them to receive it. It is not possible. When someone is literally upset and you're trying to share something with them, it's going to be very difficult for them to just see it in the light you're sharing it. So the best time when there's problems in communication is to have a conversation when everyone is happy. So wait till a time when everybody's happy, everybody's getting along, and say, hey, can we talk about something? Oh, sure. Yeah, we're in a good mood. Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
I noticed that when we're talking, sometimes I'm starting to feel like I'm just not being heard. Now, I know you guys are listening to me, right? But for some reason, I just don't feel that way. And I wonder, what is something that we can do together that you guys feel heard, right? Because I want to make sure that I'm hearing you, but also that I feel heard. What do you think we can do, right? Now, it's also a good idea to have a suggestion. So a good suggestion is, let's repeat back or summarize the other person's point. That's a great thing that works in relationships. When you guys, have best friends with your family, with your siblings, with your significant others, you're going to want to maybe get to this point if you're seeing a breakdown in communication. And it's a great tool to use. If someone just said something, they're telling you, well, you're doing this wrong, that you're doing this wrong, right? And you say, okay, just so I'm clear, it sounds to me that you're saying that I did this, this, and that. Is that right? Okay. Now I'm going to go, right? That means, okay, I heard you clearly because I just summarized what you just said. So I heard you. All right. So maybe that'd be a tool that can help too.
Okay. That sounds good. That's really good.
Yeah. And that is level 5 thinking. So there's levels to your thinking. We haven't got to level 5, but I'll tell you about level 5 maybe next week. But that's level 5 thinking. Level 5 thinking is win-win. How do I benefit and how do you benefit? And that works for both people. That makes sense?
Yep.
All right. Perfect. Today's episode is brought to you by the Life Scholars Academy, where teenagers reach their full potential. At the Life Scholars Academy, teenagers and young adults experience life coaching and personal development as they pursue their goals. If you are ready for your teenager to experience higher levels of success and happiness, then join the Life Scholars Academy. You may sign up at www.lifescholarsacademy.com. Let's move to level 4. Level 4 energy, if we had to play the game of life. Level 1 is I lose, right? Level 2 is you lose. That's all you're focused on is somebody else is losing. You know, we talked about that last time. I believe one of you guys, I believe it was had a girl in her flute playing, I think. It was flute. And she wanted her to lose. That's level 2. Level 3 is rationalizing. That means I win. Now, I don't mind if you win, right? You can do what you do. Whatever is fine, as long as I win. That's level 3 thinking. That's different than level 2. Level 2 is like, listen, I want you to lose. But level 3 is like, hey, I don't care if you lose. I don't care if you win. All I care about is I win. And that's where rationalizing come into play. You know, perfect example is like if somebody's rude to you, you say to yourself, oh, they had a bad day. But maybe they were trying to be rude to you. Who cares? Doesn't matter. You were trying to be rude to me, but maybe you had a bad day. I'm going to go on about my business. I feel good. I'm not going to let you ruin my day. So that's level 3 thinking. We don't care if they're losing. Like my goal is not to fight back and say, wait a minute, you were rude to me. I'm going to be rude to you because I want you to feel the pain. That's level 2. But we're not there. You know, level 2 energy we know is not going to help us get what we want. It's not going to help us get to the things that we want. It's not going to help us be successful and happy. But level 3 will help us to get there. Because level 3 would say, listen, I don't know if you're being rude or not. Most likely, you probably were not trying to be rude. You just had a bad day. That makes me feel good thinking that way. So I'm going to think that way. Okay. Now we're at level 4. Level 4 is different. In that case, if somebody being rude to you, you're now thinking, I want them to win. That's completely different. All right. So it's like, I lose, you lose, I win. Now it's you win. Level 4 is you win. I want that person to win. So if somebody was rude to me, instead of me saying, listen, you just probably having a bad day, I'm going to go about my business. Level 4 is like, I'm concerned now about this person. Okay. I'm concerned about them because they're upset, right? They're rude to me. They're usually not rude. Or maybe there's a stranger and this stranger is being rude to me. Why would a stranger be rude to you, right? So apparently something is going on with them. You know, you've heard the statement that hurt people hurt people. You know, someone who's hurt is going to lash out and do things. So I'm concerned for them now. So now how do I care for them? Because they're upset. So maybe I asked them, hey, is everything okay? I'm sorry. Did I do something that upset you? You know, that's showing concern. That's level 4 thinking. Now, level 4 is difficult, right? It can be difficult because if somebody's being rude to you, you have a natural tendency to be rude back. But we understand that's not going to get you what you want in life. It's not. It's going to make you frustrated. It's going to make you upset. It's going to bring catabolic hormones, right? The fight or flight response. So level 4 is going to make you feel like this person's a human being and I want to make sure they're okay. So level 4 you see is anytime you're caring for someone. Level 4 is, I think, example of level 4 earlier is if, you know, we talked about procrastination. You could be at a level 4 and procrastinate because you're caring for someone else. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I'm going to go to on this. So what's the level 4 thinking? Because we were talking about how you can stop procrastinating. So what is a level 4 thinking that you can have, right? Because you say you're a level 3. What's level 4 for you?
For level 4 way of procrastinating?
No, level 4 in your situation. Because you say right now you're procrastinating because you're level 3. So I'm curious to see how can you take that thinking to level 4? And you kind of mentioned it earlier. Remember you say you have a friend, right? Say I have a friend with me, but that's still more so level 3 thinking because it's more so worried about you. But maybe the other way around would be level 4. But hey, everyone else is procrastinating. I know they're stressed because I experience the stress. How can I help them? That's level 4.
Maybe if I'm in the situation and they know some information I don't, and I have some information they do, so maybe we can exchange and help each other out and help each other study just to benefit us both.
Okay, so that's level 5, so which is great because it's higher than 4, right? So that's level 5.
Oh, like help people, like if I know some stuff that they don't know, I could help them out instead of catering to myself and being off in a corner. I could help them out.
Okay, yeah, that's it. Right, because you're concerned about them. And guess what that does? That makes you feel good. That brings metabolic hormones. Because we know that if you have your life, if your life is spent helping others, you know, think about Mother Teresa. If you have your life spent helping other people, I guarantee you, you're going to live a fulfilled life. you're going to feel successful, and you're going to be happy if you spend your life at level 4. So that's why we want to do it. We want to get in the habit of helping people. We know that it's better to give than receive. All of these words you've heard your whole life, there's a reason for that, because it's actually true. That's how life works. If you're spending your energy on helping someone else, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel like you matter. So I want you to give me an example of level 4 with your parents. Give me an example of level 4. Your parents are talking, you're arguing, all that. What's a level 4 thought?
I mean, maybe they think too that I'm not listening to them, or that I'm not, listening to their advice, to their wisdom, and knowing that they've been through a lot. So a lot of these situations they've been through, so they do probably know. So just hearing them out, understanding them, and maybe being more open to what they're trying to tell me, rather than just, thinking about myself, thinking, oh, they're not hearing me. Maybe I'm not hearing them either. So.
Yeah. Do you hear the difference of that? Do you see the difference of that?
Yeah.
Think about the relationship. Imagine a relationship is like, wait a minute, maybe, my parents do know what they're talking about. Maybe I should try to be open. Imagine how wonderful the relationship would be if everyone had that attitude, right, in a relationship.
Yep.
That's why level 4 is a high level of energy. It's not the highest, but it's a high level of energy.
Right.
We're practicing level 4 this week, because that's what's going to be the goal, is to practice level 4. Let's talk about the advantages of level 4. So the advantages we've already talked about is you feel better, right? You feel like you matter. It gets you the results you want, because level 4, you're feeling that way with your parents. The result of that is going to have a better relationship with your parents. Who knows? A result could be that your parents may start to listen to you about things and be more open to you. Who knows? For helping other students, her level 4 would be, maybe she becomes friends with one of the students. Maybe they would say, hey, Jasmine's a wonderful person. She helped me out. And maybe I do want to help her out in a long time. Now, that's not our goal in a sense. We're not doing this to get something in return, but that could be one of the advantages. People do something nice for us. But ultimately, we will feel better. And the more that we can stay in level 4, the more we can practice being in level 4, the more we would be in level 4. Because it takes practice. It takes practice to train your mind to start thinking that way. Because all this time before this, we've been thinking 1 and 2. That's what most people state, 1 and 2. Something doesn't go their way, they're either down on themselves or they're blaming somebody else. But now that we know that we have the choice, we can choose to think how we want to think. Well, we're going to start choosing the higher levels of energy. And not every time you're going to be able to get to level 4, but at least try to get to level 3, rationalize it. I'm not saying that, if somebody comes up to you and spit in your face, that you should be like level 4 and be like, hey, I'm concerned that you just lost your spit, right? So I'm not expecting you to be there, right? But you can say, okay, you know what? It's not worth to me retaliating, so I'm going to walk away and just wipe the spit. Okay, that's level 3. So, you don't always have to be level 4, but, the goal is to try to get to those higher levels of energy.
Right.
All right, so your homework for this week is level 4. You're 100% focused on level 4. That's what I want you to do this entire week. Every single interaction, every thought in your mind, try to keep it at level 4. Try to think about the other person and their well-being. When you do something, go out of your way to do something for someone else. Because remember, you don't always have to be reactive. Level 4 is not just about reacting to somebody. Like if somebody does something mean to me, okay, I'm going to go to level 4. Level 4 could be proactive. You could be on the offense in a sense. You could just start doing level 4 things. I want to do something nice for someone. Okay, that's level 4. I want to compliment someone to lift their spirits. That's a level 4. I want to check on someone. I know they're stressed like me. Said it. They're stressed. I'm stressed. Maybe you just send a text message of encouragement. That's level 4. So it doesn't always have to be on the defensive. You're trying to just react. Why don't you start creating level 4? You can do that as much as you want. And that'll be our focus for this. So your homework for this week is to create at least 3 situations that's level 4. Okay? So 3 level 4 actions this week. And we're going to talk about it next week.
Okay.
All right. Any questions before we go?
Nope, I think I'm good.
All right. You good?
Yes, sir.
All right. Level 4. Remember that is going to help you with this. I know you guys are stressed. I'll see you guys next week, same time next week. Try to get to level 4 on your homework assignments. I'll make sure all the assignments are approved. And next week, we will talk about your 3 actions and we'll go into level 5.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoy listening to the group coaching session. And I also hope that you are able to learn something that would help strengthen the relationship between you and your teenager. Until next time, This is a teen's perspective, helping parents see the future.